Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 293, and today we're going to be doing battle with Teemo Tristana. And so, a couple of things before we talk about this deck in particular. First and foremost, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. I told everyone out there you're welcome to be Kansas City fans if you don't currently have a team. As a resident of Kansas City, I'm allowed to make this kind of judgment call, and it was very fantastic evening going out there and winning the Super Bowl. It's a big deal for the city. It's a big deal for the people here. And it was great to see them achieve victory again here in recent times. And so, good stuff there. And so, coming back here into the lands of Runeterra, talking about Teemo Tristana. First, before we get into the deck, I did want to talk about one of the ways you can kind of go out there and pick up some deck lists. And so if you go and you can actually look at this in the client and see the deck lists, but I'm on the LOR master site. I think it's a little bit easier to see. And there's been a kind of smattering of Tristana decks running around. Tristana did catch an upgrade in the 4.1 patch. She caught Impact Now. I didn't think that that was going to be too impactful, LOL. But we're starting to see a fair amount of Tristana running around. The first deck to kind of break through was Tristana Nar Noxus. I think this deck is garbage. I think this was really just taking advantage of the new set, the new format, the everyone out there brewing with the usage of a Legion Rearguard deck. But this was the first one to kind of break through. Looks to smoke the opponent down really quick and then use Might in conjunction with Tristana to get that big game-ending closing attack. Up next after that, you started seeing people like Dave Bow play the Shadow Isles version, which has a much better interactivity suite than the Noxen version, has a lot more card generation to it, but it can still close out the games with a giant Tristana making use of Atrocity. You all know how we always talk about these concepts. You have to be able to Elusive, Rally, or Overwhelm to punch through your opponent's board, and Atrocity does that same kind of thing. Then, very similarly to a lot of the Jinx Lulu style decks we were seeing before the Jinx and before the Poro Cannon nerf in the most recent patch, you're starting to see a bit of Lulu Tristana. So we still have some multi-faction usage out here with Lulu and friends. And very similar to those decks that you were seeing, but now looking to take more advantage of the Mecha Yordles. The Mecha Yordles are all also multi-faction style cards. But with the deck we're going to be playing here today, the things that I think are kind of interesting, again, are circling back to that Elusives, Overwhelms, Rally kind of moment. I personally think the probable best outcome for Tristana is going to be playing with Demacia and Poppy, using Inspired Lights and Poppy in rallies as the way to make all of your units big and nice and strong. But today we're going to be playing the Ghost version or the Rainbow Fish version. And this is something that picked up a little bit maybe 3 seasonals ago. There was a while there where people didn't realize that Aphelios Fizz was just the best deck in the game. The people at the top of the meta were certainly on top of it. It took down seasonals quite hard, but it didn't have that time needed to really get widespread adoption and get the counters to it in place. And so that was very powerful. Then those same people were deciding, well, if the fairies are so good, how do we kind of branch out fairies into others' decks if Aphelios Fizz is already in our lineup? And that's where you started to see the usage of Tristana Teemo. It has a lot of the same ideas in it. It was still playing that same fairies package, but it was having to do battle in a different way, as to where the Aphelios Fizz deck was able to close out games with Fizz with a Papercraft Dragon. That's your Elusive. Could close out the game with a Winding Light. That's your Rally. It could use Aphelios to generate Overwhelm Moon Weapons. That's another Overwhelm. This deck was looking to the Rainbow Fish and to the Ghost and Tristana as the means of using the elusive factor. And so that's what we're going to be using here. I think this fits in very nicely with the style of bruiser deck that I've been talking about here recently, using Pantheons, using Varus, using Alawi, and this kind of build up your board kind of strategy and then close it out with one big mega unit. This deck does that well with Tristana. You have the Tristana on board. She gets up to 10 attack. You give her a elusive. You get your attack in. You protect it with a deny. GG's all around. And so that's the core, the overarching strategy of what you're going to be trying to pull off is a big attack elusive Tristana. But some of the other nice things that this deck has going for it are the fairies are quite strong, in particular the Hungry Owlcats. Having all of these units with Spell Shield can be quite strong in terms of loading them up with an elusive, making a 4 or 5 or 6 attack elusive with Spell Shield. Lots of decks do struggle to answer that kind of problem. And then it also has access to the Tasty Feyfolk. This is a fantastic way to recover as you're out there against something like Pirates. If you have a Tasty Feyfolk loaded up with a Rainbow Fish, decks like Pirates tend to really struggle with being able to remove this unit and then overcome the 12-point life swings that you're taking at them every turn. Last but not least, the final card I wanted to talk about is the Wandering Shepherd. Now, it can get a little awkward with Rainbow Fish, right? You can't have both a unit-based attach, that's going to be Rainbow Fish, or an equipment, that's the item we would get from the Wandering Shepherd, but being able to pass around scouts or overwhelm equipment or whatnot gives us a lot of opportunity to make high-powered Teemos and Tristanas and Tasty Feyfolks and the like, and so it's a very useful multi-faction card, also coming out here and generating a bunch of a very powerful equipment. And so that's the deck. That's what we're going to be doing battle with today. You know what we're going to do before the battles begin, though. We got to go and pay the pay-to-win price, and it's old Minimorph today. I was quite surprised that we haven't paid up on Minimorph. This is a good one. This is something that your opponents can get some usage out of as well. If you get to Minimorph an opposing unit, turn it premium. Your opponent may not have the sweet access to all of these premiums that we do, so if we give our opponent a premium, it's a pretty nice thing to do, you know. That's what the nice people are out there doing these days, just turning your opponent's units premium for them. So we'll see if we can't pull that off somewhere along the way. And all right, as we jump in, looks like some Tristana action coming from every angle. And so this was, again, the Shadow Isles version that we just mentioned, the Teemo Tristana. It's going to have some vengeances, going to have a bit more interactivity. It's going to have the atrocity to potentially close out the game. But reasonable enough start here. I'm happy enough to get the Bandle Commandos going. Hopefully the Hungry Owlcats will give our opponents some problems, and then we can look to load them up with an equipment or something and have some cool stuff happening there. And so, not ultra worried about this Teemo. Teemo is not a big build-around card here. He is a cheap multi-faction card that interacts well with Tristana. And so, don't have to go out of your way to kill this Teemo. Of course, we don't want him going crazy. You know, we don't want him getting really big takedowns on our board or anything, but he's not the kind of card that we ultimately have to be super worried about. And here we could look to play the Bandle City Mayor, but we didn't really have any follow-up for it. We could have considered getting the free mana out of this Owlcat that we're likely to draw, but I think I'm a little bit happier making our Commando Quietus proof. So it's going to be much more prepared for combat now that it's got the Pot of Pain attached to it. Says, I'm done with Teemo already. No Owlcats for you. I feel you. I see what you're doing there. Again, we can afford to take a bit of damage here, right? We do have the Tasty Feyfolk in hand now, ready to prevent some shenanigans from opponent. Get some lifesteal back if things are getting a little bit nasty here. And then coming out of these, I think we want the Mushroom Ring. It's not the most high-powered fairy, but it does have quick attack, so it should be able to attack into this board. And the Scholarly Climber does have Spell Shield, but we're currently kind of loaded up on elusive units. Or units that are good with elusive. I don't think that we really need it here. Look at that, I've got Teemo of our own. Right, opponent's coming at us big. Lots of board coming from opponent here. And again, not worried to throw away our Teemo. He's not that big of a deal. Ideally, we wouldn't lose our Bandle City Mayor. If it goes down, you know, it's kind of sad, but it's not going to be the end of the world. But taking 4 seems pretty reasonable. We can heal a lot back with this tasty Fey Folk. Alright, now where are you at? How big are you gonna be? When I'm summoned or round start, give me power equal to the other number of allied fairies in play or attached. Currently don't have any fairies. It's a little unfortunate for him. He's going to need 1 fairy before he can start to pop off. So maybe we go ahead and play it. It just doesn't seem awesome. I like these Bandle Commandos and what they're bringing to the party. Okay. Save this deny for something a little bit more high impact. It's not doing a whole lot here. And I still think we're gonna boom them with this tasty Fey Folk. We need a little bit of time before that can pop off, but I think it's gonna happen. Kind of nasty, dude. Kind of nasty. All right, but he is down to 3 cards at this point. Hopefully, we can start to recover the board with our Fey and our various equipments here. I'm Tristana, and I've got a mini-morph. So I think we're going to have to just go ahead and pass at this moment. We could look to just block Tristana this round, but it seems kind of meh. Oh, fuck. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good. That was just the actual worst case scenario coming in and giving us the business, and so that's an unfortunate outcome I was not expecting. All right, so it looked like we would take 5 at this space. I think that's okay. And if we get the quick attack going with the Fey Folk, that should heal us back for 6. Kind of want to bank up a little bit of mana here, though, if we can, so that we can have a deny ready for next turn. So we got this quick attack thing again. Is that enough? Like, if we're going to say, okay, I'm going to spend 6 mana on deny and the fix him 5,000, that leaves us with 3 behind, so we could look to either play the Mushroom Ring or we could play Bandle Commando and play a secondary unit after that. I think it's going to have to be the Bandle Commando route. All right, so give me some of those heals right back. Getting back to a pretty healthy life total. It's like maybe he'll try and burn out his Tristana here. God, group shot, so good at our unit. Maybe he'll at least have to spend a vengeance here. Oh, or he'll just kill us. Either way. Either way. But that was tough. There's no denying that we really got boomed by that cycle thing. I was thinking in my head, like, once he played the Tristana, it's like, should we have just gone ahead and mini-morphed it? Because it's like he had 3 real mana, 2 spell mana, and if he starts to add other units to the board, they're all going to boost that Tristana. They're all going to get impact after that point, and it just felt like probably should have just gone ahead and done it, even with the consideration that we weren't going to be using the mini-morph to the full effect. All right, but into this one, though, this should be the Mist Wraith Fearsomes deck. It's probably playing Soul Cleaves in it for some degree of shenanigans. I think we can keep all of this. I don't want Nopify. The question was, do I still want to hang on to this Tristana? And she has enough stats to be relevant, I guess. It's just she's going to be a little bit slow. Alright, Grandfather Faye. Can you dodge a Quietus today? So far, so good. But ideally, we'll be able to make good usage out of this tasty Feyfolk. I think he's going to be the key unit for us in this game. If it's able to get another 12 points of lifesteal or something, it sounds a little crazy when you say it, but it's honestly not that tough to do. And an onlooker. Okay. So let's just try and prevent maximum damage. Is that how we want to do it? Like, I could definitely see the argument for just blocking the Mist Wraith since we have so much access to heal in the Tasty Feyfolk. That's kind of tempting. Just to take an extra point of damage. It's a little greedy to be doing that, but in the long run, it might actually save us a bit more damage. Now, do we want to save Teemo for next turn so that we can get the additional attack from Tristana, or do we want to just go ahead and play him now so we can open with a Wandering Shepherd? I think we want to save it for the Tristana. We're not likely to pick up another one-cost card. So let's try and go a little bit bigger here. But we do want to be looking towards these tasty Feyfolk along with an equipment. That's where we'll ultimately be trying to get. But now that we've drawn a second one, we can kind of throw one away. Just being nice and defensive with it. Okay. Get in there, Teemo. Do us proud. Oh, I wasn't really expecting Hate Spikes to come out of this deck. It's not one that tends to play too much interactivity. Like, if you're going to be in the space to where you're playing Soul Cleaves and a bunch of, like, high build-around engine-y kind of units, you just don't have a ton of space for that. You would usually see things like... like the Tellstones. There we go. If you could find the Tellstones to go with it, that was a reasonable way to have a removal spell or a combat trick or something, but not be entirely sacrificing your units for spells. Alright, nothing we can do here. Gotta take this. Feyfolk in. That Challenger was a pretty good hit, taking away our Teemo. I didn't put that into mind when it was time for us to take a bunch of damage. Well, let's see what we can do. If we can get a big 12-point life swing this turn, that should be pretty huge in terms of just grinding this guy out, especially when we have the likes of Saiyan Thousand-Tailed in hand. Uh-oh. That was not ideal. Not a bad Nocturne, though. It's gonna swap out a couple of points of damage here. We're definitely stuck just attacking, though. I assume he's gonna throw 2 units out in front, because he can't leave these up and let them just block again next turn. 8 Spike, oh my gosh, it's brutal. At least he can't open kill us, right? We can block out to the left with our tasty Feyfolk, but this has been a pretty savage set of Hate Spikes. I don't think there's any denying that. But it's like if he adds a unit, it's going to shrink all of ours one, and then we get to do things like play the Outcats and have them grow up a little bit more. Oh no, we can't just kill us. Our guy's vulnerable. This is easy. This is easy, guy. Man. Getting savaged out here. Alright. On to the next one. I was a little bit worried of just an atrocity. It was like I thought we would get our attack in. He would block one of the Fey Folk and then just atrocity them away for a big life swing there. That second one was just fucking brutal. All right, though. I don't want to start with any of this stuff. We just need, like, our cheaper dudes. This stuff's all a little bit too expensive. It's like, I don't really care what 3-drop we draw, if we have Tristana, if we have Wandering Shepherd, whatever, but I do want to make sure that we have stuff to do in the earlier turns of the game. So the Grandfather Fey, the Bandle Commando were the ideal ones. Blast Cone Seedling's fine, just whatever. I want a 2-drop out here. Maybe even a Teemo, you know? I'm not that picky. Alright, Bandle Commando it is. Opponent shouldn't have too many answers with this. It can, of course, get Mystic Shot, but it's not the end of the day if the Bandle Commando falls. A drop border, sure. I'm surprised he didn't hit the crystal already. Just the actual dumbest deck ever made. I hate all these cards so much. It's tough playing against Hater, just hating on all the cards that he's out here running at us. But I do hate these mechanics with a passion. All right, reasonable stuff. I would like to be a little bit defensive on this board. Like, it's kind of nice to save a couple of points of mana for a Twin Disciplines. And it's like being in a spot to where we can block. Let's be real, the damage shouldn't even matter here. I do want to save the Twin Disciplines mana, but let's just add the Grandfather Fey. And then we can start to pop off next turn. Whether or not that's with Teemo or with like Teemo into the equipment or with the Outcats. I'm kind of okay with both. I think I'd rather save the Outcats for a little bit. See if we can't pick up an additional way to boost them. Definitely going with the Pan of Pain here. Up against this the Zillion deck, and he's doing stuff with the Time Bombs, having the way to prevent all the Time Bomb damage onto a single unit could be fairly important, especially if he wants to come in and try and kill off the Teemo. I'm actually fine to lose the Teemo here. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Hopefully we can get that equipment on a slightly stronger unit. We did it. We got it on a slightly stronger unit. Nailed it. Echo comes in. There's the flip. It's not bad. This is a manageable turn. It kind of sucks that he'll get the free time trick, but I think we'll be building up a little bit next turn and not worry about it as much. Then hopefully we can just knock him away with a mini morph after this.
Hey, stop that.
Okay. Looking like time for the Saiyan thousand-tailed. Teemo, you're not on time for the party. You're a little bit late. All right, let's see how poorly this goes. It's a little bit worrisome sending things like the Saiyan Thousand Tailed into Echo, but he's already played one Quicksand. I don't think he's played Scrying Sands yet. Oh, is he already picked up the Chrono Break? Or does he just have another Echo in hand? If he has another Echo in hand, that's like fantastic for us, since we can come at him with the mini morph. If he has the recall, bring your dead units back rally thing, then that's going to be a problem. Already. You just drew it on that last one as well. All right. It's not the end of the world, but that shit's annoying. I'll be real with you, that shit is annoying. I think we can just take this one. Like, we have to worry about our health to a degree. Like, we're going to fall to 3 off of these time bombs. That might have been too greedy at that space, just letting this damage in. Like, now we can start to pick up Mystic shots and have them be pretty strong. But we're also close to just getting blasted next turn as well, and so... What the hell? Oh, that's not a circle ability? So I thought that we were going to have all of our fairies. Oh, that one's on me, I guess. That one's on me. I would have done some blocking there if I thought our spell shield was going to stop the time bomb action. Not the case. Oof. Rough day for Teemo Tristana. A little bit of user error. Let's see what we can do, though. See if we can't find some success somewhere. What do we got? Same deal as that previous game. I want something a little cheaper. There's no need to hang on to Wandering Shepherds. Ooh, that's tough, though. The leftmost card coming out of the hand was the time trick thing, and it just boomed us really good. So here we're never blocking. I think we'll just go ahead and drop the Bandle Commando first. I think I'd rather have the Bandle Commando get hit with a Quietus as opposed to the Grandfather Fey, so that we can just build up the strength of the units a little bit. We don't know what version of Katarina Gwen we're up against, but if it's the Opulent Foyer one, they tend to not have a bunch of blockers, and so getting aggressive with the Owlcats is a pretty real thing. Thinking on this real hard, though. Do I drop my Quietus? Opponent says no. Not doing it, dog. Alright, so let's start cheating on that mana a little bit. Another Grandfather Fey sounds wonderful. Where did you go, my friend? Oh, don't have the mana for him. You can come down next turn, I guess.
This is a chance for me to leave my mark. Locked, loaded, and ready to rock it. I shall need my tools.
Alright, we can start throwing stuff away now. We have a pretty big set of engine cards in hand, and so I think we'll be able to start picking up here, popping off with the Tristana, popping off with the Grandfather Phase. Hopefully we can give him a bit of trouble. Here comes the Quietus, right? He was thinking on it so hard on the previous attack token. He has to be ready with it this turn. If not, though, we're going to start popping off all these +3 attack Owlcats. Not going to hear too many complaints from me. Interesting. Ravenous Flock it is, I guess. Interesting. They're letting us bring it all in. And do we want to kill any of the stuff before the combat happens, or do we want to try and get them real good with the pokey stick? We could save the pokey stick for end combat. Like I think I want to go ahead and get our attacks in. We do have this, second Tristana in hand if we need it. This feels like she's going to get hit with a Ravenous Flock, right? That's a very weird place to put a point of damage. Yep. So here at the end of the day, we get to keep our Bandle City Mayor, lose 2 of our smaller units. I think we just want to save this pokey stick for next turn. So when these foyer tokens start coming at us, we have a way to take down the biggest one over on the left. Baddies beware. Nopify. Nopify doesn't hit skills. Not making me very happy. So I think we can go ahead and just get rid of the Bandle City Mayor, right? We don't have any ways to be cheating with the mana at this point. Let's just let it go. Drop the pokey stick. Now we have at least a little bit of protection for our Tristana. Maybe she can get a little bit more done next turn. It's unfortunate we don't have the big chain of units to drop for her, but the Nopify and Deny along with the Saiyan Thousand-Tailed might get us somewhere. Dude's board currently sucks as well, so that's kind of nice. Fucking Shunpo. It's so painful seeing that come in when you have the deny in hand. Fucking brutal. So we have to Buster Shot 1, block Gwen with the Owlcat, and then keep our Tristana around. Hopefully she'll be able to do something next turn. This is just a pretty tough place to recover from. Oh, we're just dead. Oh man, that's painful. It's like I guess we could have just like banked that mana, but I don't feel like you ever win the game if that's the way you go about it. If you're like, okay, well I'm just gonna bank this 5 because I'm scared of Shunpo and then play Tristana on the next turn, you just never win that way. You have to say like, well, I play my Tristana, I have a little bit of backup. We can play a Saiyan Thousand-Tailed next turn. He has to, block the Tristana, and maybe we can go somewhere from there. But fucking painful, painful. I believe in you, though, Deck. You can pull down a victory. If the Chiefs were able to unlock victory last night with a hobbled Patrick Mahomes, then I fully believe in you, Deck, to be able to to be able to achieve victory in these most dangerous of circumstances. I think this is an okay start against Twisted Fate Swain. Not excited about mulliganing into Minimorph, but it's just the ability to generate a bunch of Spell Shield Owlcats should be pretty strong against them. And so I'm looking to add in Teemo and then not play the Bandle Commando. And if he plays some kind of removal spell on Teemo, whatever, and then we'll just be built up for these future turns. Maybe we'll just put Scout on Teemo and go ham, right? Right? Maybe?
This mama is the beast mama. Be nothing left when I'm done.
Right. Alright, and now Bandle City Mayor. You're tempting. Like, I was, of course, wanting to drop the equipment from the Shepherd. I just don't think that's going to be necessary here. Let's try and take away his Powder Keg, pick up the Owlcat. We'll follow up with the Mayor so that we can get the free unit, start trying to cheat out on our multi-factions. And then we have the... it's hitting for 2. Then we'll have the Rainbow Fish and the other thing for the follow-up turns. Okay. Kind of feel bad taking this combat cook now. It's like, well, we can't put an attachment onto it. Maybe we should have picked up the hothead so we could put a rainbow fish on the hothead. But here, our ground-based units, like, I was pretty excited about these Owlcats, but they're not going to punch in for damage this game. What do you got? Tenor of Terror at least has impact. Maybe we can just pick up a Shark Trainer and try to use it a few turns from now. We have enough like stuff to do at this point. There it is. That's what everybody wanted to see, right? Getting that upcycled rake on the Teemo. That's what it's all about. Fuck you, dude. This guy doesn't like to have fun. Nope. Heavy metal. People out here being lame. Trying to bring joy to the masses. He says, watch this. Ugh. Alright, let's fuck him up, Teemo. If that's the kind of attitude he's bringing to the party, you gotta swing back. You gotta come back swinging, Teemo. This dude, definite no fun haver. So what do we see in here? He's got 5 mana. Could look to actually get the Shark Trainer on board now, and then the Shark Tooth has Overwhelm, so it can punch in some extra damage. It's kind of tempting, given that the Rainbow Fish doesn't do too much here. Kind of tempting. Is this the collection of cards you all were expecting to see today? Rainbow Fishes and Shark Trainers and shit coming at you? You're welcome. You're welcome. Interesting. And do we want to attack with the Mayors? That's a fresh question. I think it's okay. We are back to this spot to where we're gonna spend all of our mana, and so if they start to fall to like Disintegrates and Scorched Earths and Ravenous Flocks and stuff, I don't think we really care. Oh, we didn't get our shark though. It's kind of dumb. Kind of dumb. Really wanted my shark. Alright, seems like we're in a reasonable spot though. Like if he comes at us with Swain, right, then we have a Mini-Morph ready to go. Got a lot of expensive stuff in hand. He still has to answer this Teemo in some way. He's got that one, but we've got another one in hand. So, you know, maybe. So many puff caps. They're coming in so strong, so hard. Look out, dude. Look out. Got it. Is So how do we go about this one? It's like I'm eyeballing the combat cook, but maybe we do go for these fairies. Well, at the end of the day, we're not going to have fairies on the board, right? We're gonna play the combat cook and take whatever. I'll take the pot of pain because it actually deals damage. We're gonna add Teemo, and then that's just gonna start, you know, eating all of the space on this board. We need to send the combat cook just to get a unit down.
Nothing like the great outdoors.
Okay. Hi, Teemo, get in there. Get to it.
I'll scout ahead.
Most fun 2022 coming at him. Oh shit, we're in 2023 now, aren't we? Even better. The most fun of last year, plus an additional 6 weeks. Good job, Teemo. Everybody appreciates the things you do for us. What's he gonna do now? Gonna try and drop a zap spray fin or something? Ooh, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Interesting. Like, he clearly doesn't think he loses the game to this attack. But what do you get out of not adding anything to this board? That's strange. I'm gonna give that one a that's strange. Let's spend some mana. Poor Teemo. What you got? Do we want to take a pan of pain? I like the idea again, kind of like in that previous game, to where the pan of pain lets us get away from a lot of their one damage stuff, like Twisted Fates and Make It Rains, but it also the fearsome lets us attack through a zap spray fin. So I think that's the route I'm going to take with this one. Then we'll attack with everybody.
Never lost a fair game or played one.
Okay.
All that glitters.
Serving lead.
So 7 coming in. He's got 11 puff caps remaining in the deck. Let's see what we can do, friends. Let's see what we can do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You better be squeezing them cheeks, bro. Better be squeezing them tight.
Mustache ready.
All right, let's get the blocks in.
Scoops on your head. Absolutely. Top hole.
I don't care to lose any units here. We're just going to refill as much as we can. These spell-shielded Owlcats with impact from Tristana should be pretty strong as well. We'll see how far that goes. I don't know how we lose the game at this point. If he's got like a Riptide Rex, that could cause a problem, but I think we might be okay here. Uh-oh, he's dropping dramatic Yordles and stuff. So many eyes. Oh, there it is. Drop a little... Oh, I didn't emote fast enough. I was ready to drop a little laser beam on that. Sad day we didn't get it. But GG. Alright, on to the next one. So, fun piece of trivia for you all out there. Today, at least as this video is released, should be Valentine's Day. Wonderful day to go out there and purchase treats for those that you love. But the big supporter, the big proponent of Valentine's Day, Hallmark Corporation, Hallmark, headquartered in Kansas City. So a little bit of more knowledge for you. Drop a little bit of knowledge bombs on you while we can. Get some more of that Kansas City flavor out there for you as you're busy celebrating the Chiefs rolling into your holidays.
Where's my axe?
Interesting. So it's like Sunburn with Kale. It's a reasonably tempting block with Teemo, but I'm going to hold off on it. It's a space to where, you know, I kind of want to prevent all the damage, but like if he's playing Kale in the amount of kind of slowness that this deck has, I think we might just have time. Like this is the place where it looks pretty bad, right? As to where we have to take 9 on this turn, probably just have to block with Teemo, but if he doesn't open on us, then we get the opportunity to start putting a little bit stronger cards on the board. The Owlcat's not ideal. We had to play off curve with it, but
Can't spoil the surprise.
a chance to do something.
Gone without me.
Now it's not as bad to say block the rear guard with the Grandfather Fey on an upcoming turn. It's of course not incredibly ideal, but
Tristana, going in.
we're hopefully going to be able to completely fill out our hand, especially now that we drew a couple Saiyan Thousand Tailed. Almost bigger. Look at that. He's dropping the shield breakers like they're supposed to be scary, and we got almost 6 attack Owlcats coming out here. Almost 6 attack.
You cannot sway me.
Do you really have tricks here? Interesting block. It's just going to be a worse unit next turn. You'd rather have the 3-2 than a 2-2 soldier.
The dawn has arrived.
All right. Well, it looks like Leona's here to do mean things to our Tristana. I don't know if I approve of that or not. Probably don't. But
The sun
can't do anything to stop it at the moment. Who do we got with the mayor? Just want the most expensive one. Well, I mean, that's not the case. I was going to say we probably just want the most expensive one, but we do have the 2 Saiyan Thousand Taileds in hand, and so it's actually a little interesting in the Hookmaster, since we could probably play it for free with the second Vandal City Mayor, but probably more realistically say, like, well, we could just refill with the Saiyans, and we want the higher quality cards here. Seems like we're in a decent space, though. We just need time, right? We'll take the combat reel with this one. It's with the deny in hand and how much damage we're about to start sending forth. I think we're gonna want and need it. All right, fam. Seems like the corner has been turned on this one.
illuminates the land. Bask in the light's radiance.
Not super worried about Leona. It's like, might as well just drop one Saiyan, right? We shouldn't need to be getting the Fey Folk onto the board. I think we're good. I think we're good. Just a super easy refill again if we need to. Give me some of that barrier, bro. Get my barrier bro out here and blocking.
Glorious light reigns.
All right. How bad is that? Doesn't seem too bad. He's pretty far away from lethal. We can't just play a tasty Fey Folk, because he's going to have the opportunity to just hook it in with Leona. But now that he's down to 2 mana, we don't really have to worry about any of his cards. We don't have to worry about a Nox and Fervor or Decimate, Reveler's Feast. He doesn't have the mana for any of that stuff. Cool. Just picked up Ghost. That should be enough to end the game. It's only got 3 blockers as it is. I don't want to deal with our units getting stunned, and so I'm pretty sure we just want to open attack. Alright, here they come. Gotta deny, we gotta twin disciplines if we need it for the Owlcat. I think we're gonna be good, fam. We are. We GG'd him real hard. Feels good. Feels good. Alright, next battle. So we'll save the interesting knowledge for those of you that stick around through the whole video. The people that just jump through aren't going to catch this. And so, the thing I've learned that is apparently truth is the lining of your intestines in the cornhole area is very similar to the lining of your mouth. And so, if you eat a bunch of spicy food and you put it in your mouth and say, wow, that's spicy, you should get a similar sensation as that exits your body. And I found this to be kind of interesting in the past day, given yesterday was the Super Bowl. I accidentally just purchased all spicy food. I made a spicy bean dip. I got some spicy salsa, little taste flavor for you there. But then also the wife made some spicy chili on accident, and we ate all that as well. And boy, I could tell you, I could tell you today that there was certainly a lot of spice within our Super Bowl dishes. And so just keep that little nugget in mind. Keep that little piece of knowledge in your brain area. The next time you get something spicy in your mouth, you say, oh boy, I bet this is going to be about the same on the way out as it was on the way in. Useful piece of Reddit knowledge. I talk a lot of trash about the Reddit, and one place I found that they were actually quite correct here recently was what do we want to do here? Do we want to twin disciplines or deny? We're all in on this rainbow fish next turn, but I mean I guess we don't have to be. Like next turn we're only gonna have 4 mana. We can't just ghost it and then try and rainbow fish later. Let's nopify here. But if you are a purchaser of eggs these days, eggs have become very expensive, and it sucks. It sucks to pay a lot of money for eggs. I don't like doing it. You probably don't like doing it either. But it turns out that if you go to the fancy store, the organic only kind of place, that the eggs there much cheaper. So I got a large collection of fancy eggs, much cheaper than they were at the grocery store. Saved myself like $1, and so it's worth the stop. It's worth the trip, you know. Completely leave where you're doing your grocery shopping, go somewhere else, save $1. You're welcome. Glad I could help. Glad I could help.
Firepower solves everything.
All right, so this here, it's kind of bad, you know. Looks like we're gonna run into a few more problems along the way. I assume this is about to be a vile feast pointed at our tasty Feyfolk. We've thankfully got this other twin disciplines in hand, but this hand in this game has been quite awkward, and so I'm not feeling really good about our potential outcomes here. Got to get something good fast. Wandering Shepherd kinda helps. Can we even use the upcycled rake? I guess if we're willing to, it's not good this turn, it's good next turn. And when we can also just ghost it. I think that's where we want to be, right? It's not a good attack here because it only has 3 attack into Maokai, but we might be able to OTK with this next turn. Or can we just kill here? Stop for a mathematics check. If we twin disciplines, it's up to 5, that's 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. We are short. We are short. But perhaps next turn we will be ready. Jettison, sure. So we should at least be safe from damage, right? It looks like he's going to have like 8, 10, 14, 16 or so. He can play a sea monster instead of sapling and have a bigger one, but we can also block with the Wandering Shepherd. Like, I don't think we're getting lethal next turn. So we could be in a good space there. Hopefully this just comes down to, like, again, it kind of felt like he had a Vile Feast earlier. He's going to try and pop one of our champions. That's a little unfortunate, but let's see if we can't make our way through here. All right. Undergrowth protection for our thing. Do not care about this Maokai flip. Again, we don't need these cards in our deck. If we don't win this game on this upcoming attack, then we're not going to win anyways. And so only having 4 cards left in our deck, not entirely relevant. I bring in a Wandering Shepherd. Probably should have just gone for Overwhelm, but I didn't try hard with my clicking. No, I think we just won the game. He doesn't have a unit to hook either of our Tristana or our Tasty Feyfolk. Let's just do this. I don't know what his last remaining card is going to be, but there's no reason to just die to Atrocity here, right? Do we even have enough for lethal now? I've mastered this. We're at 14 damage because we spent a Twin Discipline, so we are a little bit short here. We're going to need a good draw. What you got, deck? You got a good draw for me? Vandal City Mayor. I don't think he does it. We need something good. Can we switch the Ghost to one of these other guys? Or the Scout? Well, we can switch the Scout, but it won't be enough with the Elusive. A mushroom thing. Gonna be like a couple of points of damage short. We're at 16, too short. I'm curious if we had a mini-morph in there onto his lifesteal unit, if that would have been enough. I don't think we had the mana to do all of that. But that 3 points of health was enough. Maybe if I wasn't talking about beehole heat the entire game, then we could have been a little bit more successful. But take that how you want, how you wish. You know, I could have really just improved someone's day. They weren't aware the amount of heat about to encroach on their beehole was going to going to have some ill-intended effects. All right, Teemo battles. We're certainly winning the Teemo battles here. He's got the standard skin. We're using the foundation skin. The foundation skin is clearly the superior skin of choice here. But let's see if we go for the trade. If he has like a Vile Feast to kill our Teemo, then I'm going to want to drop the Bandle Commando. If he doesn't, then we'll just go for the Grandfather Fae. Start trying to churn out some of these high-powered fairies with our Tristana. Okay.
Anyone seen any sheep around here? I lost mine.
Reporting for duty.
So I'm going to bring in the Tristana. This hand is almost like really choice. Like if we had the one more mana to where we could play the Mayor, then play the Outcat, then play the Twin Disciplines, I'd feel a lot better about this. Not quite what we have here. But let's upgrade a bit, see what happens. See how opponent spends the mana. If he drops a Vengeance onto Tristana, then we're still pretty okay to just pop off with these Outcats. Now that he didn't do it, he only has 3 mana. She should be safe. I don't think this is a deck that plays card like Black Spear. And so let's get in here and attack.
I'm Tristana, and I take point.
I'm bringing it all. It's coming in. I think we're going to have enough enough refill that I'm okay just throwing away these Grandfather Fays. I don't think the stat points we're getting here are that important, especially as we're blasted in for so hard. So this is more along the lines of what I was expecting. He's going to have to block our strong units to just not die. and our grandfather phase will come through unimpeded. And if he just wants to take 1,000,000 and risk dying to a ghost next turn, then, you know, go for it. All right, not a bad round for Team Bust. Team Tristana out here doing stuff. Let's see if we can't close this one out. Poro Sled, I do not care about. You can. It is kind of unfortunate he'll get that free Poro out of it, but it's not on my radar as something that's I'm gonna give the time of day. Maybe this should be a block with the mayor, but I think that's fine. Look at all them stats on our friend. Yeah, this is why I thought maybe we should put it on the mayor just to get a protection from a 1 damage. But we're short of lethal this turn, and I like the spells in our hand, so let's just fill out the board. Get another nice attack in. He's going to have to throw his units away, losing out on his Poro Sled and stuff. Should be another pretty strong turn for us. And we have, like, impact 1,000,000. Right, we've got 6 impact, 7 impact. I missed this one here on the mushroom ring. So we're blasting. We're blasting good. We're blasting hard. Blasting strong. Oh, shit. I saw that we were dealing 11 into 13. My brain immediately processed and said, oh, yeah, you can deal that 2 damage with the Twin Disciplines. And then I didn't realize we were losing out on the 4 impact from Tristana. A little bit of a whoopsies there. A little bit of a whoopsies, but I think our opponent can just get all upset and butthurt, and we'll still just win the game anyways, so... Just win the game anyways. It's the way I prefer to do it. Says us playing against that dumb FTP Bust, making terrible plays all along the way. Ruined it, man. It ruined my day. Gotta block whatever he's doing here. We don't want to die to Atrocity next turn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What if he hits Overwhelm? That could be scary. Looks like he's putting it onto the Shepherd. I was curious if he puts like an Overwhelm on top of the Poro Sled to then try and Atrocity next turn. But I guess if you take that route, you're gonna lose out on your 7 attack unit. What'd you get there, Teemo? Combat reel?
Praying and praying.
Absolutely. Top hole.
Oh, need a 3 power. Okay. Blocks are in.
Just trying to help.
Alright, fam. This could be it. This could do it. Ooh, another Saiyan Thousand-Tailed. I was intending on just attacking, but... like, if he gets the extra unit on board now... I think it's okay. Like, the blocks into our units aren't that bad. It's just a matter of, does he have a way to kill us with Atrocity? And... I think the real problem here is if he, like, vengeances Tristana and takes away the 5 impact, then we need a little bit more width just to get the kill, right? We have 1 impact from the ring, we have 1 impact from the Owlcat, and then we kind of need the 2 damage from the Grandfather Fae to be the game breaker here. So I think that's okay. And then now we'll get the chance to see if he taps below, like, Vengeance mana, or, you know, I guess even if he has another Glimpse from Beyond or whatever. Those can be problematic as well, but...
What's this? A new flock.
I think I like counting on our units a little bit more than counting on this Tristana to get the job done. All right, but this time at least we do have the mana for Nopifies if he tries to Glimpse from Beyond. May get us in a good place. He's winding up. He's ready to swing.
I said bonk.
All right, here comes Vengeance onto Tristana. 4 damage from the impact and the 2 damage from Grandfather Fae. Nailed it. And all right, so interesting set of battles. We can pull this deck up and talk about it a little bit more because it's interesting. I know it wasn't like the highest win rate of adventures, but there's a couple of things that this deck has going for it. Number one, as you say, look at a deck like any Alawi deck, and you're going up to battle against pirates, and your opponent plays like a Legion, even not just like the big draws to where they like hit you with 3 1-drops on the second turn, but if it's just like a more standard draw to where they play a Legion Rearguard into a Marai Warden into a Misfortune. And if you're just like fucking around with like a single tentacle, then it doesn't matter if that tentacle's a 10-10. You're still just getting blasted for like 1,000,000 damage and you're going to lose the game. And so what Teemo Tristana is able to do, I think you could see it pretty well as we were playing against the Kale Leona deck, is that you can still just get a bunch of dudes on the board in the early game. You can throw down all of these hungry Outcats as blockers, and then they have that opportunity to slow down the opponent, and then even with this version, maybe buy a little bit of time until a tasty faithful can come on board. And so, in terms of these, what I've been calling bruiser decks, these kind of build up to a big nasty singular OTK style attack kind of deck, I think this has a lot of merit in terms of the early game, given that these units can come online so quickly, and you can generate so many of the units that you're able to come in and do some of those big blocks. But the downside to this kind of deck is if we look towards, say, Pantheon, and he just gets like 1,000,000 stats, he has some self-protection and like maybe rolling Spell Shield with his barrier, or if you look towards Varus, he just draws himself, so you don't have to worry about physically drawing him to make your big turns work. If you look towards something like Alawi, you have some kind of like side angles with the big units to where you can just kill with a big tentacle, you can kill with the Nagakaboros. But with this deck, we're really struggling to win any game to where we aren't getting Tristana going. And so Tristana is a little bit more vulnerable. She only has 3 health. There's no real protection for her in Bandle City, so you do have to look towards other factions just to get the protection for her. And then on top of all that, you need another card to make her combat relevant, as to where with Varus, he just has a ton of stats. With Pantheon, he just has a ton of stats. With Alawi, she gets a ton of stats without using other cards. And with Tristana, you kind of naturally play the game, but she's probably not dealing damage unless you draw a Ghost or unless you draw a Rainbow Fish. And so it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of up in the air with it because I know I still don't play these decks particularly well when it comes to navigating these OTK style things and doing the math to determine if you can win the game and when and where and stuff. And it's something that I'm actively working on and trying to get better with. But I think this is kind of an interesting space in where it can fit into those kind of strategies. And so it may have some merit. I don't think it's a particularly strong ladder grinder, at least in terms of Teemo Tristana. But I think there may be something here. But it's something that strikes me as kind of weird in the sense that is giving Tristana impact like really what is going to like push her over the edge? Like probably not. And if that's not the case, is Tristana in the space to where either she's been good and nobody ever figured it out, right? Because she hasn't changed that much in the past few patches. B, has she been good, but the format didn't line up to where she fit, right? That's a possibility. And then the last one is, kind of like, what if she has been in this space as like Katarina, as to where she's been good all along, but nobody gave her a shot. And now that she has a shot, it's going to have a chance to kind of pop off. And I don't think that it's one that people have missed. I think that she's been kind of on the radar for a while now. It's just kind of maybe a more format dependent kind of thing, as opposed to people not realizing that she exists. And so I'm curious to see how these decks kind of pan out. The thing that I thought to myself as I'm playing all of these games and running through all of this stuff is I want things to work well with all of the fairies, but the fairies are all garbage. And so you're not running into these games to where, like when we're talking about a Lowy and you just, oops, I win with a tentacle, or you're like, oh, cool, I've got this 12/12 unit, here comes Nagakaboros. Those games never really materialize as we're playing through decks like this. And so it feels like we're putting all of this effort into making a good Tristana, but we don't have enough payoff when that goes wrong. And so that is to where I think, in terms of these Tristana decks or this style of thing, that's why I personally kind of at the beginning said I think the way to go about it is probably with Poppy, because that does give you that secondary angle of, okay, well, all of my units now don't suck because I played a Winding Light, or not a Winding Light, because I played an Inspired Light. All of my units don't suck now because I've attacked with Poppy and I just gave my team +6/+6. And it has a lot of angles of attack that win the game without Tristana. And so I think something like that is popular, or potentially there. The Winding Light, I think that still has some merit, even though the Winding Light has been, really devastated with its loss of Overwhelm. Or there could potentially be something with the Lulu version. I feel like with our time playing Jinx Lulu at the time of seasonals, it's very easy to miss the forest of how good the scrap heap units can be. Are they scrap heap units? That's not what it's called. It's the Mecha Yordles. I think there's a lot of potential in the Mecha Yordle style strategy that wasn't really given enough credit. And so I think that's kind of the way the Tristana decks would eventually float into being, something good. I think that Shadow Isles version is garbage. I think the Noxus version is garbage. I don't think this one is complete garbage. This is kind of like, I don't know, you put it in the garbage disposal, but you haven't flipped the switch yet. So you can you can still pull out that carrot from the garbage disposal before it's lost to garbage eternity. But I think that there's probably still better angles of Tristana that we could be playing than what's actively going on out there, or even what we just played. And so, interesting games though. I had fun. I hope you did too. And that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.